Hello and welcome to the show that brings you the top 5 digital and social media news each week in 5 minutes. I'm Natchi Lazarus and this is the Connected Church News. This week we've got news about TikTok, Facebook, WhatsApp, Google, and a news item about the AntiTrust Hearing in the United States Congress for big technology companies. Let's get started. Our first big news of this week is about Facebook. Last week, Facebook released its earnings report for the second quarter of 2020. They reported more than $18.3 billion in ad revenue, which is a growth of 10% compared to last year. We all know what happened in the second quarter of 2020 and why these growth numbers are significant. It's not only COVID, but Facebook also faced certain issues with more than 1,000 advertisers boycotting the platform and temporarily boycotting and abandoning it. But in spite of that, Facebook has been able to post this growth. Experts mostly say small businesses and smaller organizations are the ones contributing to this growth. And Facebook says that next quarter's growth would be roughly similar. Goes on to show the importance of social media advertising in a time as this and how this is poised and well set to continue to grow in the days to come. So do have a look and think about your own Facebook and social media ad strategy overall. Our next news is from WhatsApp. Last week, WhatsApp released a new feature which lets you check the authenticity of a particular forwarded message by searching about that message on the web with ease. You don't have to copy. All you have to do is click on a magnifying glass icon that will be next to that forwarded message. Just click on that icon and it will open up a browser which will search for that content on the web so that you can go through and see whether it is a real news or a fake news and kind of verify the authenticity of the forwarded message. This is a good feature, especially considering the rate at which fake news and information travels so fast in using messengers like WhatsApp. So this is being piloted in Brazil, Italy, Ireland, Mexico, Spain, UK and US. Our next news is about TikTok, and this is a developing story even as I report it, but there has been so much action in the last few days, I thought it's important for you to know about this as a leader of a non-profit or ministry. TikTok has been under pressure of being banned in the United States, and there have been various discussions between the government and the company and various other organizations. So you can read about all of this in the links that I'm going to give you, but the key thing is right now, as of now, Microsoft is well positioned to be one of the players that will potentially take over some of the operations of TikTok. And this news was released a few days ago, and right after that, in a couple of days after the news was released, Chinese state-owned media came out with a strong statement against this and said Beijing might respond to this if something like this goes through in the United States. So this is still a developing story, and it's interesting how a social media app that was just released a few months ago is now taking the center stage between two huge nations and what's happening. So it goes on to show the power of social media really. Our next news is from Google. Last week, Google Analytics team released an article outlining the details of various controls within Google Analytics which you can tweak to make sure that your data protection policy and your settings are in alignment with various regulations like GDPR regulations and CCPA, and there are various regulations around the world for data protection, and most ministries and non-profits that I'm speaking to use Google Analytics at the back end. So it's important for you or your data protection team to make sure that all these settings are in the right way. And now there is one article that helps you to go to various control locations and make sure your settings are fine. So I will link to this article in the show notes. Do pass it on to your digital or social media team so that they can take a look. Hey, I just wanted to take a minute to remind you to subscribe to this channel if you've not done so already, so that you do not miss any news episode that we come out with every single week. I'll see you inside the next news item. Our final news of this week is about the AntiTrust Hearing, congressional hearing, where members of the United States Congress questioned the CEOs of top big tech companies like Facebook, Apple, Google, and Amazon. So I am linking two important articles that nicely, briefly outlines everything that happened there and all the discussions, so that you as a leader of a non-profit ministry can stay on top of all that's happening there, because these are discussions and steps that could influence the way things move in the digital and the social media space in the days to come. And there were some very interesting discussions related to how data is being handled and how privacy is being handled by all these large organizations that handles millions of people's data. So you might want to take a look. I will link to it in the show notes. Well, that's all I have for you this week. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to dig deeper into any of the stories we talked about, especially the interviews by US Congress, then you can check out all the details and the transcript in our news page, nachilazarus.com/news. It's got all the source links and information there. I'll see you next week with another set of news items. Until then, you stay connected, stay blessed, and stay very safe. God bless you. Bye-bye.